Hi, guys. Welcome back to Retrial. My name's Elle, for those of you who are new here. I go by the council, and I am the host of Retrial, as well as the owner of the Council Collection, the legal theme brand. Thank you very much. And I am super, super happy. I'm going to let my guest introduce herself in a second, but I am so happy to be speaking with this amazing, amazing woman and sharing her story and her bar exam journey. And I know y'all are going to be inspired because she inspires me. I know y'all are going to be encouraged. So, I'll stop rambling because we know I'm long-winded, y'all. So, Grace, introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Grace Alcocer. I am from Puerto Rico. I moved to Florida a few years ago. I did know English. I learned English in Puerto Rico, but it wasn't legal English, like complicated English. So I decided I wanted to become an attorney in Florida. So I've been retaking the bar exam a few times.
Yes, so she is quite literally the embodiment of retrial.
Yes.
So let's rewind a little bit. So we know you grew up in Puerto Rico. What was what was your law school experience like? And like, did they do anything to prepare you for the bar exam, whether in Puerto Rico or any of like the mainland states?
Okay, so first of all, I loved law school. The experience was transforming. It opened my mind. I really started to see the world in through a different lens. And school was very difficult. Law school was very difficult, different to, like I did a bachelor's in marketing and business administration. So I remember when I spoke with the dean of the law school, he told me like, I see you have like excellent grades, but law school might be a rude awakening. Like this might be the first time that you get bad grades, but don't get discouraged because, it's not the end. So it was a shock. Um, Even if it was Spanish, I just didn't understand what I was reading. So eventually, you get the hang of it. And in the final year, they include in your schedule bar prep courses. Like taking a baby bar. I
Mhm.
remember I sat for one of those. And you also, since day one, I remember I got assigned a mentor, one of my professors, Professor Torres Ramirez. He was my evidence, my criminal law and criminal procedure professor. And he's amazing. Like, I still remember his class when I study for the bar here because there's a lot of things that are the same in the criminal um area of the law in Florida and in Puerto Rico.
Mhm.
And I remember like him giving me advice. Like, for example, I didn't know how to study for law school at first. And I remember I brought to him my first review for criminal law. And he told me like, this is excellent, but this is not what you need to know for the exam.
Mhm.
I was more like remembering dates, like this law was made in this year, like as if it was a history class.
Mhm.
So first of all, I had to learn how to study for law school, focus on the elements of the law and analyze it, like learn how to analyze it, like judges analyze, try to um how do you say that, like advance that what they will say. Not advance. Can you help me with
Anticipate?
that? Anticipate. Thank you. yeah, like anticipate what the other argument would be. I had to learn all of that. And yeah, at the end, oh, they did provide us with different bar prep companies like Bar Breathing is and others that I don't remember the names. But yeah, they give you a pathway. It is up to you if you want to follow it or not.
Okay. So okay, they don't know this. So, okay,
What?
I was gonna say, okay, so how did, like, I know you made the decision to come to Florida, but let's rewind a little bit. So we know that, while you were in the middle of your law school journey, the hurricane hit and uprooted.
Life change.
Yes. So do you mind touching on that experience just a little bit and like how you were able to power through and just continue and finish out law school? Because that's amazing in and of itself. Just saying.
Thank you. Okay, so it was the final, like at the end of my second year. Law school is supposed to be done in 3 years. It took me four. Um, but like in the final semester of my second year, Hurricane Maria in 2017 hit the island. So it was not obviously the first hurricane, but I think it was one that in a long time, like something so strong and destructive had passed. So it really destroyed the island. I passed that hurricane with my sister from another mister. From, I've been friends with her, Monica, like 20 years now. She was my friend. I was friends with her like in school. So I remember I went to her mom's house and we spent the hurricane there. And I remember like I just packed a little backpack for me and my daughter because I was expecting to go back to my apartment. I didn't anticipate all the destruction. Like I was in La La Landia, you could say.
Mhm.
So I was staying in like 50 minutes away from where I was living. So I remember right after the hurricane passed that against her mother's wishes, we were like, no, we have to go to Ponce, which was another town like 50 minutes away from her house. We have to go pick up some stuff, and see if there's any damage. So the island was like the trees, it was horrible, horrible. There was no power, no water. So I had with me a 3-year-old at that time. Right now my daughter is 12, but by that time she was 3. Um, so law school, my parents already had decided to move to Florida by when that happened. So when they saw all of the chaos in the island, we couldn't communicate. The phones didn't work. I remember we stopped in the highway because we saw other people like walking with the phone like this, like trying to catch a signal, and we were able to catch a signal in that spot too. And we just, my parents were like, okay, the three of you, because my brother was living in Puerto Rico, we got together. Um, they already have bought tickets for us to get out of that place because the lines for we to get gas, we had to do like 3-hour lines, in your car, have like a picnic basically in your car. And my daughter, 3-year-old, we were like singing songs and like trying to entertain her just to get something so basic like gas. So yeah, when I spent a few weeks here until everything got uh a little better in the island, I had to go back to finish law school. I couldn't like stop law school because of that. but I had my daughter, and daycare, it was closed. So I decided it was better for my daughter to stay in Florida with my parents. I went back to Puerto Rico, and it took me 1 year to finish after that. And I just would, every 30 days, I would travel to Florida to see my daughter one weekend and then go back, and we would communicate on the phone. And I remember she started kindergarten and I was not there. She was starting reading and she would read to me through the phone. And it was a little bit heartbreaking, but at the same time, I always had my parents' support and my family in general. Like everyone in my family was like, you are going to be the attorney of the family, so we are going to do everything we can for you to achieve it. And they have kept their word so far. And I entered law school in 2015. I finished in 2018, and I moved here immediately, so I started sitting for the bar in 2020. So that's a long time.
Yep. But the first time you sat for the bar in 2020, we know what that year was.
Yes,
COVID.
COVID, crazy COVID year.
So what was that experience like? Because I know for a bunch of states, did Florida test you guys in October or November that year?
October. I
Okay.
was so happy when they sent this letter saying the July bar has been postponed to October. I was like, oh my God, I needed this because I did not feel prepared at all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you study, you know,
Yeah, I
you
remember I
take
used
it at
TMS
home.
first.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and the test was at home, which was crazier.
Right. I
But
can't imagine my first time having been at home. Not that I should have taken the bar my first time around. Shouldn't have taken the first, second, maybe not even the next time. But here we are now.
yeah.
So you power through, take the freaking bar exam at home. So that is literally 2 days of being parked in front of your computer and in pretty much isolation.
Well, Florida decided because here, I don't know in other states, but the MBE, it's usually a paper exam that you
Mhm.
have to, the bubble sheet. You have to fill out the bubble sheet. So they they didn't test us for the MBE that year. They said that they will only test Florida, and if you pass, good for you. Like you can be an attorney. So I really thought that I was going, even I know now I shouldn't sat that time because I didn't know anything compared to now. But by that time, I felt I would recognize, the concepts. I can sit through this because I already went to law school. I underestimated the test. That's the
Mhm.
truth.
Uh, yeah, we all did.
Wait, also, I think it really what made me underestimate it, and I don't want to throw shade to anyone, but the lady that sings, someone on Barbary, they say that you only need like a C to pass. So that
Hmm.
made me feel confident that I can do this, like I don't know. I don't think that's true. Like you don't need a C to pass. That's not true because you're competing with other students that, hello, come on, everyone's trying to get like a perfect score.
Hmm. I get what you mean because it's just like that kind of sort of can make you kind of make you a little bit more comfortable than you should be because it's just like, oh, a C is nothing. But I think what they mean by that is like all you need is to just minimally competent. Because, like, quite frankly, I love that a lot of folks are just like, yes, I got a score and I can practice in every jurisdiction under the sun. That's
Oh my
great.
God,
But
I wish.
they're not getting a gold star on their license. We all get the same license when we get those same those same three letters. There is no distinction if you get a 295 versus a 262. There is no distinction. So
That's true.
I think what that's what like a lot of bar prep companies and coaches and stuff that they're I think that's what they're trying to convey to try to
Mm.
take the pressure off. But I can also see how that kind of like minimizes or like makes it seem like it's something that's super easily attainable because it's just like you think in terms of law school, most of the time the curve is a C. So
And I wanted to touch a little bit on law school. I didn't say this when in the first question, but I was thinking about this and I wanted to mention it. Like there's later I learned that law schools for people that go to higher education, universities,
like
like
see,
they don't prepare you for the bar. Like you're just taking like I don't know what classes they are taking, but I do remember in my law school, they did teach us about, contracts, the elements of the contract, like everything that, like all of that. My law school did prepare me for a bar exam. You know what I'm saying?
I don't feel like, well, let me rephrase that. It's not that they didn't prepare me. Well, the school I got my JD from, because they, similar to what your school did, they built in like an intro to MBE, intro to MEE course into our like third year curriculum. So we didn't have a choice. And I think that was helpful in a sense of it gave me a little bit of a preview of like, just what the material was going to be like for the bar exam. But I don't feel like it prepared me in the sense of perhaps it should have been structured. First of all, the materials, and we're going to get into like bar prep companies and blah blah blah, and that next.
Hmm.
Like I just feel like the materials and everything, like they weren't consistent. The teaching styles, we had different professors and everybody teaches differently, but it's just like none of that resonated with me, and none of that prepared me for the freaking marathon that is sitting in your seat for 2 days for this make or break exam that like the next step of your career hinges upon. They don't do
It's
enough.
brutal.
There you
That's true. Yeah, because one exam in law school, it only lasts how long the class normally lasts. Like there's no exam except for that baby bar that I took. But come on, it wasn't, I don't remember coming out of that test like, woo, oh my God, I need to sleep 15 hours now, you know?
It's not the same. And I think I'm noticing like a really big gap in pretty much everywhere, everybody's experience, even people who passed the first time. That there's a gap. So law schools help. So let's rewind a little bit. When you were first sitting for the bar, you said you signed on with Themis or Barbary.
Themis. I got Themis first
Mhm.
and
What
I
did you?
couldn't keep up.
Okay.
I couldn't keep up. That was my like the first time that I said like, oh my God, I don't understand what I'm reading in English. And I remember I would have two laptops, like one with whatever it is that I was reading and another one with Google Translator. And I would like start like, oh, okay, this means that. It was more getting familiar with English law, like law in English, because I did take con law in law school.
Mhm.
But even if the material was in English, I could always get one of those, that professors do those like bar prep reviews, like, and they sell it to their own students. Like I could get it in Spanish
Mhm.
in one of those books. And my test is in 2 weeks. So I need to do this now. I cannot in law school. I felt like I cannot sit here and learn law in English. So
Mhm.
I just tried to went like the easy route, and that really in 2020, I was thinking to myself, remembering, oh my God, I should have spent the time trying to understand the law in English because right now I would have been one step further, you know?
Mhm.
But it is what it is. People,
Yeah.
we do
Hindsight
what we
is
think.
2020.
Sorry,
Exactly.
what?
Hindsight is 2020.
Exactly.
And we also don't know what we don't know, right? So I think that's one of the biggest, again, being a first gen anything is a blessing and a burden, but being a first gen law student, being a first gen lawyer, first gen attorney, just that's a different level of, it's just a different level. And again, you don't know what you don't know. So like had you known, what to expect a little bit better, maybe you would have been like, you know what, actually let me not take this route and let me make sure that I learn and understand everything in English first. But they
Yes.
don't teach, like that's what I mean. They don't teach us that. They
I
throw
think,
the material at us, but they don't teach us how to take this test.
yeah, yeah. And also, like, I wish I knew before that I cannot sit. I mean, it's not productive for the brain to sit like 5 hours at a time because the brain will not retain the information. So you are wasting your time. Like you're better off like studying a little bit in the morning, go do something. For example, I do this like with my daughter. I go out, grab something to eat, something fun, have a walk, go back, study a little bit more,
Mhm.
like that's something that, and I had to learn to take time for myself because I stopped seeing my family. I stopped having a life, you know, just because of studying. I remember I skipped Christmas. I skipped New Year's because I would say to my family, no, 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 I need to study. Like I cannot have a party. Are you crazy? Like I don't know this. I need to study.
Mhm.
So it's like one get in your like you can get in your mind and like your mental health will could take a hit too. I mean, not everyone. I hope like not everyone, but yeah, me too.
Mine did. I will never, I feel like people are going to be like, all right, girl, how many times are you going to tell us this story? But I will just never forget this one time in particular sitting. So I signed on with Barbary for the first time I took, and like their schedule and like how they lay out everything in the assignments. I couldn't keep up. No, I can't lie. But
Amy
like,
is a little bit the also have that, that schedule.
mhm,
And you can see, I don't know if it's in Barbary or Themis, that you can see that how other people are doing. And that would really, it's like, oh my God, I mean 20%, and most people are like in the 40% of the program. Like, you
mhm.
know,
And then did it become rather for you more of a like checking off the boxes and trying to keep up with that percentage as opposed to actually digesting and learning the material?
yeah,
Same. So like
yeah.
I don't do well. I don't do well sitting in front of my computer for hours at a time. I was not learning a thing. This one time that I'm mentioning, I sat in front of the computer for a good 14 hours.
That's a
I
lot.
did not eat. I barely drank water, anything, because I was trying to hit these percentages. I was trying to keep up with the schedule and trying to make sure I didn't miss a blank in one of the worksheets or something like that, miss a word in one of the lectures. Whole time I was not absorbing any of that. The only
Yeah.
thing that stuck with me um from that entire first time with Barbary was Professor Paula Franchese because she kept singing and
I know.
it pissed
It
me
takes
off.
two.
Uh-huh. It pissed me off so bad. Like, I'm a survivor. But little did I know that that would be the one thing that I would retain to this day.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you all about tenancy and I can tell you what's a joint tenancy and a tenancy by the entirety and because of her. So that was effective. Pissed me off, but it was effective. I don't remember anything else out of how many subject areas are there broadly? Like 14? I
Yes.
couldn't tell you a thing. Could not tell you a thing, but I studied the hardest that I had ever studied at that time. So studied the hardest.
Yeah.
Wasn't studying
There's that
correctly.
more like skimming everything and
Hmm.
done. Done.
It
Yeah.
kind of took off all of these boxes, and that could be counterproductive for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So, okay. You take the exam that very first time, you don't pass. What was that experience like? And how did you decide, or when did you decide that, all right, I'm gonna get back on this bike and do it again?
Well, at first, I remember I got my results and it was like 115, like in 110s. And I remember that I thought to myself, oh my God, I only need like 15, 20 more points. Like, oh, that's nothing.
Okay.
Because I didn't understand that every time that I sit, it doesn't matter how many points I get or I earn in that test, they will compare me to the rest of the students. You know what I'm saying? And I thought like, oh, 15, 20 points, that's so manageable. But really, when you sit, yeah, my raw score got uh higher, of course, more than 20 or 15 or 20 points, but the curve, it's like minus 20 because there are a whole bunch of people that did better, you know. So that when I realized that at one point I did feel that, oh my God, it doesn't matter how much I study, they, like the other students, will always win. Like, because I started thinking it's me against the rest of the other 3,000 students that are sitting. And that mindset, it's the devil, honestly. Like, you cannot do that to yourself. The
No.
mindset needs to change. I always knew I would retake if I didn't pass that time because I was confident that I would pass in my like maybe 2 years. It might take me 2 years,
Yeah.
but you know, I I turned down a job offer that I got as a because I did an internship in 2019 and a small law firm. There were two interns, and they offered both of us to stay with the firm, and I said no because I wanted to focus full time studying because I knew I could pass this test, and knowing my difficulty with Spanish and English, I needed the whole time, and I also wanted to spend time with my daughter. I didn't want time taken away from her.
Mhm.
Um, so I said no. And sometimes I wonder if what if I had said yes? Um, Maybe working would have given me like another source of learning, but I I said no, so it is what it is. So I've been studying, and right now I feel like this is all I have. Like I need to pass this because I have not worked for so many years,
Mhm.
and it's like I didn't do all of this,
Yes.
just to not pass.
Mhm.
So I'm dying on this hill.
Period. That's the perfect hill to die on.
Yeah. Like, why not? I mean, I have the support, so let's go. Let's go.
Mhm. I want to touch on, okay, so one of the times you passed was it the Florida portion or was it the MBE?
MBE.
Okay. So
Yes.
you passed the in Florida. For those of you who are not familiar, Florida will allow you to take the portion of the exam that you did not pass and not have to retake the entire exam for a certain period of time. I'm not sure if it's like 20 months, 24 months,
25.
25 months. Okay. So 25 months ago, you passed the MBE and then you just had to sit for Florida.
Yes.
How did you decide that you were like, what did you do differently to even pass the MBE that time?
Okay. I was on the internet looking for something that would help me with this monster, the bar exam. And on YouTube, I found a bar prep company, IBIS Prep.
Mhm,
They would get online in a group meeting, and they would start like reviewing the different concepts. And I reached out. I also learned they have tutoring, and I spoke with them. I said like, I need someone that speaks Spanish that can um help me. I need help. I cannot write an essay in the 1 hour, because there's three essays in the Florida part. So you have 3 hours to write three essays. So 1 hour for each essay. I was having trouble with my timing. I was having trouble with formulating arguments on a clock.
mhm,
And so they got me in touch with the owner of Ivy's Prep, is Andrew Dennis, and he does speak Spanish. So I started tutoring with him. And at first we sat, I mean, at first when I started studying with him, I sat for the whole test again. And he looked at my score and he compared it with the other one, and he told me like, you did not improve. Like, I yeah, but he's very like, by now he's my friend, and he's like the tough love that you need, like the sergeant of your life, like bar prep sergeant. And he
mhm,
will be very straightforward and say, he told me, I don't know if you can pass this test. I recommend, yeah, because I didn't improve at all. And he told me like, I think that you're confusing federal with Florida. So he told me, I want you to sit only for federal law, like the MBE. If you pass that test, I think that you can, pass the overall. Because from his perspective, um, those questions of the MBE, you need to know how to think critically. You need to reason. So we started practicing and practicing and practicing every single day. He assigned 25 questions that I would have to do by myself and go over those questions. Um, and in our sessions, I would prefer, some people like, okay, teach me, explain to me this. No, I wanted to practice because I realized that was more beneficial for me. I was doing different things at the same time, like time management, like thinking on a clock. And so, yeah, basically with his program and okay, touching on the schedule of the other bar prep companies, they give you this one schedule for you. I mean, for everyone, and it doesn't really resonate with everyone. So he made one just for me, for my necessities. For MBE, basically what I did that changed my score, I
mhm.
passed the MBE with 141 points, and you need 136. So I remember I sat the first time for MBE only, and I got 131. And he was like, this is a very good score. You need to sit again and pass MBE, you know. So we repeated because it was working. So the second time I sat only for MBE, I did pass. That's 2023.
Mhm.
Ever since 2023, I've been battling with the essays. Oh my
Mhm.
God, like I understand why they want you to be able to formulate so many arguments, different points of, issues of law.
Mhm.
Because I mean, when you are in court, you have the life, the liberty, the rights of someone else basically in your hands. How well you do and how well you explain your arguments, it will depend on how the jury or the judge, if it's a bench trial, will, um, see everything and, like make their decision.
Mhm.
Um, so I do understand why they want you to put you in that pressure, because in court you cannot be like, oh, I don't know. Let me look it up for next time.
Mhm.
Like you need to know your arguments and be prepared.
Mhm.
So at least that's what I tell myself, to not drown in depression and, you know,
Yeah.
and not talk back to my bad about, to myself, because
Mhm.
the least that you need is to talk back to your own self. Like, let the haters do that, not yourself. Come on.
Okay. Like we sometimes we're our biggest bullies. I know I am. And
Yeah.
it's like I try to reframe, thank you, therapy. I try to reframe some thoughts, and it's just like if somebody else were to say this to me, what would my reaction be? Or if somebody was to say what I say to myself, to like somebody like my family, my friends, I'm ready to fight. Like, you will absolutely not talk to these people that way and blah blah blah. That's my family.
Yes.
And it's just like, so if you're gonna have that attitude for other people, why are you saying these things to yourself? Why are you allowing that for yourself?
One thing that Andrew recommended that I do it every time I sit is that, for example, the MBE, I woke up so early, like I like to wake up early. So I wake up around 5:30. Yeah, I know.
Love that.
Yeah, it's just that I like to go to bed early and wake up early. I mean, yeah. So I don't go to bed late that day before the test. Not at all. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. You go to bed late studying? Like, what are you doing? No, that's not time to study the day before the test.
No.
So in the morning, I would do my coffee. It's 5 in the morning, I'm like, I put some music, like something really nice. And I open my computer and I would do like 10 questions. Not to study, is to turn on the engine. One thing that not Barbary, sorry, IBIS Prep do is that they developed questionnaires, very detailed questionnaires, based on the different exams, that it's uploaded online. So someone of the company read every single essay exam, and they took out all the issues that Florida has been asking. So then they prepared this questionnaire, and yeah, some of them have like 70 questions, for example, but it's every topic that has been tested for the past 10 years, for example. There's a lot of topics that are very repetitive that Florida loves to practice,
To test.
test.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's one thing that they did. And I would take that questionnaire. and I will go over the ethics one for Florida the day that we have to write down, because ethics will be tested. That's for sure. So you just want to refresh or turn on the engine on those subjects that for sure will be tested.
That's actually a very good strategy. And I didn't know that IBIS did that, so I'm gonna make sure I write that down. Okay.
I
So,
don't think I mentioned it before. I might have forgot to tell you.
oh, it's fine. No, that's very good. So that's similar to, so I weaved in JD Advising's one sheets, and that was a game changer for me for sure, because it kind of like it broke each topic down into like some digestible pieces of information. Throwing throwing an entire program in like a 2 3 month schedule at me all at once does nothing but frazzle me. I
Mhm.
don't work that way. I cannot work that way. And it wasn't until I accepted that and figured that part out that I saw any kind of progress. So that's actually very helpful to know. And Smart Bar Prep as well. They have similar to what IBIS does, like they catalog all of the like most tested issues or whatever for like however many years. But for the UBE, I'm almost positive they do it for California as well, but I'm not sure. Either way, they like that to me was helpful. So it helped to kind of reframe what I should be spending more energy on. Like if a topic was only tested like maybe once in the last 10 years, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think that's very, very, very helpful. So I like that they do that.
Yeah, and they do also test do bar prep for UBE. Now that you mentioned that, Andrew mentioned at some point, like when you pass the Florida bar, you should sit for the MBE, I mean for the UBE. And I was like, are you crazy? I'm tired of studying. Come on. But
Okay.
maybe, maybe I could sit eventually. My daughter is 12. She will go, live her life at some point.
Yeah, and then when you pass, it's only a few years until you can waive into some other jurisdictions. So you may not even have to sit for another exam. There's
Oh, I
options.
didn't think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, don't quote me on this because I don't know exactly which states Florida has reciprocity with.
That's the thing. I don't think Florida has with any state. Yeah,
Oh, I don't like that.
yeah, that's why I think that's one of the reasons Andrew says like Florida is very difficult because it has peculiar stuff different of other states, and they like are not res what's the word? Res
Across.
Reciprocity. Sorry, I'm Spanish speaking.
Oh, you got it.
I
What?
have the word in Spanish. I know it.
Tell me the word in Spanish.
Reciprocidad.
Reciprocidad.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know Spanish. You told me you did speak
but
Spanish a little bit. Yeah.
a little bit. Tiny, tiny bit. I'm so rusty. Let's rewind a teensy bit more. So you passed the MBE part, and from then you've been taking just the Florida specific, like the essays part.
Essays and in the morning and multiple choice in the afternoon, but only, Florida specifics.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
really, at this point, it's the Florida specific parts that are giving you the hard time.
Yes, yes.
And unfortunately, this most recent administration is where you got the results and you missed the Florida portion by one freaking point.
1 point. It broke my heart when I saw that. Yeah, it was very, 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 ah, it was like real pain. Like when, I don't know, like when something really sad happens, like someone dies or, like I was grieving. I
Mm-hmm.
was grieving because I really felt like I did an excellent job this time. Something funny is that for some reason, every time that I have sat for the test, I am sweating before, in the line. And Andrew likes to travel from Miami to Tampa to see the students, and like support. And the last time they even brought uh lunch for the IB's prep students.
Nice.
So, like you really have it's like you have like your coach, and they're like, like when the boxers that they have the coach right next there, right there, and it's like you can do this, and then they put some ice, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's how he is. So every single morning, he's like, "Why are you sweating?" So nervous, la la la. So this last time, I'm telling you, I no sweat. I was like feeling so good. And he saw me and he was like, Grace, you look amazing. Like I'm, you got this. I know that you got this because I felt so confident. So by one point, I really feel like God, like why I can't, why the doors are not opening. Only
Mm.
he knows. But one thing I do know is that my seat at the table, it is earned. Like no one gave me this, and like there's no handouts, like no. Like I battled this, I cried for this, I studied this, and I will be an attorney in Florida eventually, but I will be one.
Yes, you will. Because just the fact, first of all, this attitude of I'm going to do it, it's just a matter of when. That's amazing because some people allow this test to defeat them. Some
And
people allow
I
it to
did in
find
the
them.
post, I understand what you're saying, and I felt defeated. I actually had said to my closest friends, I will not sit again. I'm tired of this. I will not do it again. When I saw that I didn't pass for 1 point, everyone was like, I know you said you didn't want to sit, but you will regret it. I mean, you will regret it if you don't sit.
Hmm.
So, like, I considered like maybe applying to jobs, like work as a paralegal for a little bit. And most of the people that, know me and have been through this for a long time with me, they have said, I am afraid that you will lose the drive, you'll start earning money and, maybe a trip here, I want to go this and there, and you will put it off because life is like that, and the trauma, the trauma of sitting for the test, it is traumatic. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
You are,
you,
and it is
it
10,000%.
is, it is,
How do you
yeah.
overcome that? Like, well, if you've overcome it, but like, how do you just overcome that voice in the back of your head, like that's telling you to quit?
Okay, I will confess something. ChatGPT.
Hmm.
Well, I know that it's a little bit dangerous because people use it in like the therapist, and then it goes to these levels like, but I started using that chat GPT,
Hmm.
asking and saying like, okay, this is what I want you to do. Do not sell me dreams, tell me the truth as an objective person, I uploaded my scores, like I really had a talk with ChatGPT.
Okay.
And I told him like, tell me, like, is it possible for me to pass this, or am I just crazy? I need you to tell me, like, be objective, you know. So, well, the ChatGPT threw the numbers, and he said, like, this is totally possible. Like, you're crazy if you don't sit, basically. Um, so I started communicating to the ChatGPT that I know that I am starting to believe that I cannot do it. And I needed him to like give me this like paragraphs or words of affirmation that will help me change the rewire the brain. And I basically gaslighted myself into believing that I will do it. Like because but not out of thin air. It's because I gave I gave the information. These are my scores. Second language is English is my second language. Like I need you to tell me because if I need to move to another thing, I need to know it. So
Hmm.
be objective, like all of that stuff. And yeah, I started, like reading this daily. It was a little paragraph. I don't have it anymore because I started believing in myself again. But yeah, that's I've been using AI. Like I even like deleted the app because I started noticing that I was going to the chat GPT to, like just talk. And it's like, no, I have friends. Let me reach out to my friends. Because it's just that the bar prep isolates you, and not everyone understands. Like I had friends that had told me like you should stop trying to be an attorney in Florida, come back to Puerto Rico, because they don't have kids, they don't really understand like why I want to stay here. It is for my daughter's education.
Okay, so what I'm taking from this is the part of it was because Chat GPT, AI in general, we kind of train it, right? So I what I'm gathering from this is that you were kind of struggling with the tabs open in your own brain. And of course, your family and most of your friends are going to say, "Oh, yeah, just try again," or "Oh no, just give up," whatever. And so, tell me if I'm mistaken. So, I think you went to AI, Chat GPT, as kind of like confirmation of what you subconsciously wanted to do, and you wanted somebody else outside of family and friends to confirm that.
Maybe, yeah, I could say that. I just wanted to, because the friends that would tell me, you need to retake. And I'm telling you, like, I'm talking about friends that I have made while studying for the bar. Like, we have studied together, we have become friends because of studying.
Mhm.
And some has passed, some have passed, some haven't passed yet. But the thing is that we stay connected. And like they say, you have what it takes to be an attorney. Like I know it because I know you, I've studied with you, you got this.
Mhm.
Um so like you just have to change that mindset. Like why are you talking to yourself that way? Why do you think that you cannot do it?
Mhm.
So it's just that there's something about seeing fail so many times that you start believing like maybe I'm just not good enough, you know like, oh my God, again, not good enough again. You know, that that's the brain caught, like gets that. Even if
Mhm.
I am not saying it out loud, I do think it.
Mhm.
So, or used to think it.
Good. I want you to keep this energy because I mean, one point to me does not say you can't do it. Like that's not what that means to me. That just means that maybe you should have picked B on a question that you should have picked C on. One,
I
not the
I
same.
really think I I mean, I asked for my test, the essay part.
Mhm.
I haven't gotten it yet, but I am guessing that maybe I'm writing not in the correct way in English. Like maybe I am formulating the sentences in Spanish because English and Spanish are backwards when you speak it.
Mhm.
So maybe there's something in my writing that like they know like this person like it's trying to say something I like it didn't explain it well. I want to see how I test on, like I want to see what I did on my test.
Mhm.
Um, but I know for a fact that it's the essays. The essays, it's really yeah, my struggle.
Mhm.
Um, and the most that I've earned in essays is like 52 points.
Mhm.
Um, which is it is a good score, but there's people that get 80 points. I want to get there. Um, so one thing I did the last time different is that, okay, I have consistently been like scoring a little bit low in my essays. So last time I focused so much more on the multiple choice of Florida
Mhm.
that I think I did a really good job like on that part.
Mhm.
But I think that they are balancing both parts, like A and I mean the morning and in the afternoon. I don't know how they test, but yeah, it is 1 point. I can do this.
Yeah.
Just watch me.
Period. And as you said, people are gonna talk, but let them talk. And I personally think you can do it. And I admire the fact that you are just not allowing this to defeat you. Like, it is defeating. It's heartbreaking. Like, I think I
Yeah.
cried for days straight the first time I got not passed. And then one of the times, matter of fact, a couple of the second time I took it, I had a significant jump, but that third time, I missed the 260 by 1 point, which in 260 is the minimum to get into any jurisdiction.
Oh my God. That's for the UBE.
Yeah, one freaking point, one.
Oh my God.
And it's like, holy shit, 1 point? Y'all couldn't have found 1 point to give me? Please? I don't want to take this test again. But that to
Yeah.
me just signaled, all right, you were right there. Maybe if you'd added just one extra sentence or explained something a teensy bit different, or again, bubbled A instead of B on one more multiple choice question, you would have gotten over that hump. And you will get over this hump.
Yeah. I know. Because I cannot drown right there in the, like, how do you say, in the, like, I just got here.
Yeah.
How do you say that? When you're swimming, the beach,
Mm-hmm.
like in
You're trying
the,
to keep your head above water. And
yeah,
what are you going to do? You're just going to drown and not fight back?
exactly. Like I can see land right there. I'll just keep swimming. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I can see the land. I just need to keep swimming. Maybe the land is moving farther away from me.
It's not. That's in your head. You're there at 1 point. Seriously, you can do it. But we're at the point where because you did not hit that, because of that 1 point, you now have to also retake the MBE portion, the
Yeah.
federal portion.
Yeah.
And like, how are you? Like, I know it's hard to cope with. I know it's disappointing, but like, are you okay?
By now, by now I am doing great. Like I don't get sad or yeah, like my mood doesn't change because we're talking about this. There used to be like maybe like a month ago, I would be like my throat, like breaking and tears coming down while I speak about it, but not anymore. And it is also that every time that that I have failed, I I know everything I did, to like my strategy. I know what I did. So I never do the same strategy. I always think about how can I improve it, what I can do different this time, and there is always space for adjustments. Like for example, I started already practicing MBE questions, and for my surprise, I did learn that in 2023 because I still get high scores, you know? Um, but the ones that I have missed, I have here. I already bought like I don't know if you can see it, the index card.
Mm-hmm.
So I already, every question that I got wrong, I, okay, this is what I'm doing. You know that when you are practicing, they give you the explanation, you read it, and okay, perfect. So this time I have my friend ChatGPT because, I do have tutoring sessions with IBIS Prep, but obviously I cannot have a tutor 24/7, like helping me with my studies. So what I'm doing is that I feed the ChatGPT the information. I do not let him give me something from his thoughts, if we could say it that way. I say, okay, I got this question wrong. I chose letter B, for example, because I thought about this, but the correct answer is this one. Make me a flashcard that, will help me remember the
Mm-hmm.
rule of law. So, but it's all using the information I give you. This is me talking to ChatGPT.
Okay.
Um, so that's how I've been because, English being my second language, it takes time for me to, oh, let's formulate how to summarize this. It's time consuming and I need, you know, to be fast
Mm-hmm.
and to, be as much as productive as I could. So yeah, I have here like my little um, um, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it's no because it's blurry, but you can see it's a little bit, a little flashcard, regular flashcard feeling from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go over these flashcards in a certain amount of time
Mm-hmm.
because supposedly the brain works in a way that, the way it stores information.
Mm-hmm.
See what's happening to me when I try to speak English? Like imagine that in the test. Like, oh my God, what's the word?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And it's
yeah.
important for you to catalog, like that was a game changer for me, like tracking, okay, why did I get this question wrong? Why did I get this right? Did I get it right because I know the law for real? Or did C just sound like a nice choice and I picked it? So like it's
Yes.
important and that's one of the game changers for me. So it's important to actually understand why you got something wrong, why you got something right. And you're going to start to pick up on those patterns too.
Yes, yes, I do. I did realize that I needed to know the why. Why do you make this the way it is? I need to know, and I will remember the backstory of it.
Hmm.
Um, so yes.
So, what words of encouragement or like what tips do you like maybe two or three things that you want to share to folks who are, in a similar situation? They have to reset for the bar. Some of us have to reset for one freaking point. What do you want to say to those people?
Okay. Do not forget about yourself. What do I mean about with this? Your eating habits should be as healthy as possible because junk food will make you slower, will not, you will gain weight studying, and that happened to me. Um, if you eat correctly, balanced. That's what I mean, like balanced. Eat
Yeah.
balanced most of the days, obviously. Eat your pizza and your cakes and all of that, but be mindful because I started binge eating at some point. At one point, I did start a binge eating, and one day I look at myself in the mirror and I am like 2 sizes bigger, and like nothing fits me. And oh my God, I failed the test and I am fat. What will I do? Well, that's what I thought. So I said, okay, I need to get back to my center. I started getting healthier food. That's one thing. I started going to the gym again. For me, the gym, like it makes my head straight, emotionally, everything, it just makes me feel better. And for me, like it's a good thing, like the body gets back to its figure and everything. Um, the other thing that I wanted to say is plan stuff, like plan fun stuff too. Last administration, I went every week, I had an activity. I went to the Shakira concert by myself. Like, don't wait for friends either. I started doing stuff like that. I went to Miami to visit one of my law school friends. I stayed over there a few days. I studied there while she was working. I was studying. At night, we would, hang out. Every week I had something to do. You're supposed to be studying 3 months. So for the first 2 months, have activities, have a life also. Holidays, go to the holidays, see your family. And that last month, that's what I did. I just, if I went out, it was to the movies. It was less like hectic environment. Like I went out to eat, you know, um, no consumption of alcohol the last month because I don't like it makes me the headaches, the next day, even if you drink, at least for me, even if I drink a little wine, the next day I'm with a headache. So no, those stuff. And I will add one fourth, if you don't mind.
Oh,
I I planned what I will eat for breakfast and for lunch like weeks before because I didn't want to have a tummy ache because I ate something that I normally don't eat during the bar day. Um, and for the girls, you need to know if you are going to be on your period because you need to plan for it. You know, the if you need the Midol or anything, like you need to have that. You don't want to wake up the date of the test and you have your period, you know? Um, yeah,
oh,
yeah. So yeah, try to plan those things. And yeah, I'm like, I know exactly what I will have for breakfast. It's an acai bowl because that way I will not get hungry during testing. And
mhm,
in the as lunch, I take a salad because if not, I get sleepy. Sure. It
mhm,
happened one time. I ate a sandwich, and it was the worst thing because I was getting sleepy during the test.
mm.
So yeah, that's what I have to say to other people.
Plan ahead and focus on the things that you can control
Yes.
and don't stop. Don't stop life. Don't isolate yourself. But one other thing, like what other words of encouragement can you give to, let's say somebody is sitting for like their fifth time.
I wouldn't compare myself with others. That's something that will not be helpful at all. I think that everyone needs to remember that we all live different lives. We have made different decisions and we go to law school at different stages of our lives. Um, in my opinion, as long as you have a supportive family or support, I mean friends, people around you, it doesn't have to be family. Um, it is possible to achieve your dreams. Um, maybe if you have to because there's a lot of people that have to work full time for their jobs. I know many people that have done it and have passed. So working a full-time job and having kids, it's not a hurdle. I know one girl, she sat 5 times. She had 5 kids and two were twins. Yeah, and a husband. Two were twins, like 3-year-olds. She passed the test. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember her kids in camp, and saying, "Hi guys," So don't let, I know the internet says a lot, like, oh, we're oppressed and we don't have like the same advantage as other people. Like I wouldn't think about that, because we, at least in the US, we can change our environment. I mean, we have to plan it. It will be difficult and it will not be a breeze. I mean, you will have to sacrifice stuff, but it can be done, and you will feel so much like empowerment and sufficient, and like no one has given you anything. You earned your sit. So fight for it. Don't give up. And if you have to take a break, because the test is expensive, all of that, take a break, plan, maybe like do savings or something. I don't know, like there is a way. It really depends on personal circumstances also. So I wouldn't hear the noise outside. That's what I'm trying to say. Believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like show all of them, the ones that are saying that, oh, I don't think that you'll pass. Just wait. Why are you so focused on me? Focus on yourself.
Exactly. Focus on your own paper, your own assignment. Mind your business.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
business.
because all of that is noise. All of that is noise. And I see many people that and on the internet that fall in the trap. I said like a mind trap. Like, oh, we are like we don't have it as good as others. Like, but you can change your circumstances. It's possible. That's
Mhm.
what I would say. Just change the mindset.
Mhm. Because if you don't believe it, if you don't work for it, it's never gonna happen.
If you don't believe in yourself, you will not do anything,
Hmm.
because the mind and the actions, I think that do have, go together, your mind and what you do.
Hmm. It becomes what I don't remember what class I learned this from in undergrad, but something called the self-fulfilling prophecy, where basically like if you keep on thinking the same thing, like, oh, I'm gonna fall down the stairs, I am gonna fall down the stairs, I'm gonna fall down the stairs, eventually you're gonna fall down the stairs.
Yeah, that's like manifesting it.
Uh-huh. You put
Because
this,
you,
yes, you put that bad juju into the universe, it's gonna happen. So why not try to figure out how to make what you really want happen and think towards that.
yeah, and also find help. If you need help, just find help. It was an ego adjustment, because for me, like I can say it, yes, I thought I was, you know, I don't know what word, but I thought I was, I don't know, like I can do this. Like, come on. Why not? I've achieved everything that I've proposed myself. Why wouldn't I do this? And it was very like
Humbling.
humbling. Thank you. That's the word, humbling. Yes. And I needed someone to tell me like Andrew, like, girl, you're a little bit delusional. Like you need to do this and that. And if you follow my instructions, he said to me, if you follow what I tell you, you'll pass. And I'm like, I believe him, because I ever since I started doing what he proposed, for me,
You've
I've
improved.
been I've been improving, and it's like, oh my God, I am intelligent. I can do this.
Yeah.
I started believing in myself again.
And it will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen. And, maybe this past time wasn't your time, but I sincerely hope that this next time is your time and you can kick this
Yes.
test butt.
Yes. Yes. And thank you for people like you that we don't know each other only for the social media.
Mhm.
And thank thankfully, I'm in a corner of the internet that I don't have like people saying bad stuff, like, nothing like that, which is that's being lucky in my opinion,
Yeah.
because there's so many trolls. So you don't have to do this by yourself. I mean, to anyone that's listening, I mean, you can reach out to me, and there's a community in on the internet that it's being built right now, because law stuff on the internet was not a thing. It's saying out loud that I have felt so many times was not a thing in the law industry, because it comes with a lot of shame, and we're in a competitive environment. So no one wants to look like, oh, you don't know as much as the next person.
Hmm.
So it is good to see real people that are struggling. I am a normal person, with a normal medium class family that is helping me. You don't need to be like rich to be able to, because there's, in my opinion, there's like this
Stigma?
belief,
Yeah.
like a, yeah, like a stigma, like law school and these kind of professions are for like rich people, like, but not necessarily. Like, you could do it and you don't need to be rich. I
Mhm.
mean, it can be done.
Exactly. And that's it. That's exactly the point of this. Like, so even, and I'm gonna need to talk to my therapist about this. I'm gonna weave this in because like it's still, I've been licensed for a couple years now, but like just the fact that I did not pass that first or even the second time, it's still a little bit of a sore spot for me. I don't understand why. So part the podcast is honestly it's exposure therapy because I didn't see a lot of people talking about it and like just keeping these things to yourself. Like, I love that you're so vulnerable and you're not afraid to just say, "Hey, this is what happened and I'm going to get back up and I'm going to try again." I didn't do that. And I also didn't see people talking about it enough and normalizing it. And
You know what? It's just that when I've noticed that when I am sad, like it comes to a point that, I need to express myself, and like talking, so like I've had law school colleagues that privately have told me like, oh my God, like, why are you saying this? Like, aren't you like afraid of the stigma? Like, and it is like, yeah, it's a little bit scary so that people know that I failed, but at the same time, you know, this is for me. I need to express myself and find people that are going through the same thing, because I moved to Florida. All my friends are in Puerto Rico or in Miami. Most people have moved to Miami. So I felt so alone here. I thought I live in near like Tampa, but it's like 50 minutes no up north. So it is very country, very different, isolating. Um, and I have obviously living here for a few years. I have made my friends over here, but at first, it was I needed to express myself and find my people. Like like it can't be that I am the only one going through this. So yeah,
Mhm.
and also I did pass the MBE, and Andrew said you can be an ambassador for IBIS Prep because like my story. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, me? And he was like, yes, Grace, I can see it. You can make people, keep going and not quit.
I totally agree. Like you gotta find it's important to find that community. And like again, we don't see enough. It's a lot more stuff popping up about not passing the bar. I even know some folks talking about getting dismissed from law school and starting again. Like we exist, so let's talk about it so that other people can see and not feel so bad and feel so alone and that's depressing. I don't want to be depressed. I don't want any extra reasons for depression, okay? So
Yeah, exactly.
tribe, talk, cry, do what you need to do, but whatever you do, do not quit.
Yes,
And again, I've told you this like a billion times. I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing it, but I'm very proud of you and I admire you. And you're a mom. Like, who the hell goes,
I feel very, I told you already, like, I feel like, thank you, but like, I'm no superhuman. What I'm doing, it can be achieved by any person that wants to really achieve it, that it's put in the effort.
Mhm.
And I never thought that I would be like here, speaking with you and putting my story on the internet. Like, who knows how many people will see this.
Mhm.
And we will talk again when I pass.
Absolutely.
We will talk about definitely.
I can't wait because like your story is amazing, your journey, and just again, I'm proud of you and I think you can do it. Not that what I think
Thank
matters
you.
most in the world or anything like that, but like don't ever allow this to defeat you. You or anybody else who's currently like in the process of retaking or considering retaking or whatever. Don't allow this test to defeat you. Like you said earlier, you didn't get this far to just stop here.
Yeah.
So don't
There's
stop.
people there's people climbing the Mount Everest. Like, this is my Mount Everest, you know?
Mhm. And
So,
it takes more than one try to make it to the top, and that's okay. But
yes.
that shouldn't be a source of embarrassment or shame. It should be a sign of resilience. And
Yes.
I love that about you. So don't give up. You're gonna pass. And when you pass, we'll be having the I passed conversation and here's what I learned and all of that. But
Yes.
I appreciate you and thank you so much for just joining me and being vulnerable and encouraging people who are, about to retake as well. It's okay.
It is okay. Definitely okay. Like, no one really cares. Honestly, no
No,
one really cares.
it's about getting those three letters at the end of your name, replacing the two, the JD, with the ESQ. That's it. That's what matters. And it doesn't matter how many times you have to try.
Yeah,
We all get the same ESQ. There's no gold star, there's no asterisk, you don't get a bonus. Okay?
exactly.
You don't get a
Yeah,
bonus,
there's
you don't get
definitely.
a prize. Literally, your prize is this, the three letters. Focus on that, you'll get it.
Yes, I agree. And thank you for inviting me. It really means a lot.
Thank you for agreeing. I know this is so vulnerable. I know like I said, it's still a sore spot for me. So I appreciate you just being willing to, just talk and be open and be vulnerable. And again, you got this.
Thank you, Elle.
Of course. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for the next episode. And oh, wait, let's tell the people where they can find you.
Okay, yeah. Instagram and TikTok. My name, Grace underscore Alcocer. Alcocer.
I'll make sure I put that on the screen. Note to self. But thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.